Susan, come over here. I need to show you something.
What is that?
I think I've seen something through the telescope. I think it might be a new planet.
A new planet? That's amazing.
I know. Take a look through here. It's amazing. There seems to be complex life on there. We're seeing life forms that are engaging in video games and comedic skits with voices.
That's fascinating.
I think I see some music and movies on this planet.
Wow, it's such a rich culture they've got there.
I know, they've even got to the point where they're discussions of social politics mean that they can have queer and trans people on this planet.
That's incredible. I'm so glad that they have acceptance and an open discussion about these matters.
Exactly. Now, what do you think we name this planet?
Epsilon Q7421.
I was thinking something more like the planet Queer and Pleasant Strangers.
Much better. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers, that podcast where two queer trans ladies make a bunch of jokes and try and make each other giggle and catch up on our weeks and just have a bit of a natter.
That's us.
Yeah, it's not been very long since we last recorded one of these.
No.
We did a Saturday recording, and now it's Tuesday, so we have had to wedge some stuff in a very short amount of time.
You can wedge some stuff in my very short amount of time, if that's what I'm calling it now.
How has your week been, Jane?
It's naughty, slimy, and very, very short comparison to our usual weeks.
Indeed, it's a very short week.
Yes, I'm still leaking unspeakable ooze, although it's less radioactive and more pastel now, so this is a benefit.
Huzzah!
Yeah, how about you?
That's been alright. We recorded this. I've been doing some writing in my book and doing a lot of obsessively refreshing how's my book doing?
Go on, plug the book.
I was not expecting to plug the book now. I was genuinely just that's how my week's been.
Let's get it right.
What is it called? Things I Learned About Mario's Butt. It's on Unbound. We're 36%-ish funded at the time that we record this. Probably more than that by the time you hear it. Go support that book so that I can make a book about butts. I've been writing about a lot of butts today. I wrote about GLaDOS's butt today.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've told you about what I'm doing with that butt. That's been my week, really. It's just been butt-related stuff.
My week has been listening to your butt-related stuff. I'm very hyped for the butt stuff.
I've been having a lot of fun with butt stuff.
I enjoy butt stuff, and I'm glad that you're bringing more butt stuff into the world. And I've already deeply invested in your butt stuff. Although not as deeply as some of the possible options for when you too could sign up for a copy of this book.
How deeply do you want to invest in my butt stuff?
How deep do you want to get into Laura's butt?
Oh, goodness. So, where should we start this week? Should we talk about what we've played this week?
Yeah, go on then.
So there's the thing we started playing together last night that I'm excited to play more of. We started playing through Until Dawn.
We did.
Which is, for anyone who doesn't know, it is a sort of choice narrative-based game where you make choices and consequences happen. It's a horror game. You're a bunch of teens up on a mountain.
Arsehole teens, let's get it very specific.
Okay, a bunch of arsehole teens on a mountain who, the previous year when they went there, oops, some friends died on the mountain, and now they're going back a year later. What could go wrong?
Who is the person in the mask with the flamethrower?
There's a few things to worry about in this mountain, I suspect.
It feels like they're slowly doing every single horror trope.
They're dropping teasers for all the horror tropes. It's which one of these is going to work out to actually be the problem?
To be clowns or scarecrows or Native American spirits, or will it be
or the man with the wanted poster,
the person from the wanted poster, or wasn't there a disgruntled local person?
Disgruntled local person who warned them not to build on that mountain? Or
yeah.
Will it be something to do with the miners? Or I think there was a sanatorium that was hinted at.
Yes. Well, hopefully by that they actually mean sanatorium.
Indeed. So, yeah, I've been through this game before, but this is your first time. How are you finding it?
It's alright. They've done a good job with Rami Malek.
Yeah.
It's definitely Rami Malek.
It's Rami Malek, and I was right. The other one is the cheerleader from Heroes.
Unfortunately, I watched all of Heroes in one sitting. So I've kind of forgotten it all almost immediately. It slid out of my head as easily as it slid in.
I remember really enjoying seasons 1 and 2, and then it went in a weird direction, and I don't remember enjoying it after that. But I remember enjoying the whole "Save the Cheerleader, Save the World" season, and I believe her name's Hayden Panettiere. She's in it. Rami Malek's in it. A bunch of people that I did not know, but like have been pretty good, are in it. I'm pretty sure the psychologist is Peter Stormare, I think.
Yeah, I mean, their face seems familiar, but I couldn't put a name.
I think
to it.
it's Peter Stormare, but he does a good job at that. But we got a couple of hours in.
Yeah,
we got far enough in
to
that
about chapter 4. I think we've just started.
We got far enough in that we've had like, here's your introduction to the arsehole teens, and like here's a bunch of tension building scenarios, but none of them have actually had anything go wrong yet. It's just like, will it go wrong? Will it go wrong? Will it go?
Which of them are going to hump and therefore die first, according to horror movie rules?
It's like, it went wrong. It went wrong. Oh, it turns out it was just a fake out, and we've been going through the roller coaster of fake outs, waiting for like it to actually go wrong.
Well, we get it. You seem to be getting a bit closer to something now with the whole phone through the window thing.
Yeah, that whole scene and the way that one of the characters left that scene is like, oh, okay, we're having some stuff actually happen now. It's just an interesting little game, that one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with it. If you can keep anyone alive.
I like that for the narrative choices, they give you as much time as you want to make those choices.
That's good, because it gives me time to read things and ponder the results of it.
They occasionally, for like, if you're in the middle of a running through something, you might have to make a quick-ish decision, but they usually do take the fast but risky route, or the safe but slow route.
I feel like with those quick time events, some of them need a bit of a get ready moment.
Yeah.
I know some games with QTEs do that get ready.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would have been more handy because there was a couple of times we nearly missed prompts.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, this appears to be a cutscene now.
Yeah, I think that's part of the design, is that you have to always be slightly on edge of, is a thing going to happen I have to react to?
Yeah.
Like, I like some of the mechanics they've used for their QuickTime stuff. Like, I like the hold the controller still and do not move as a mechanic for, like, the ways they use that mechanic. It's not hard to imagine things like hold your breath and don't get spotted in a bush or something like that.
It's been a bit... the first one I did, I cocked up the first time because part of me wanted to sort of level it before holding it still.
Yes, that's the thing you have to fight, is you have to be, no, whatever position it's in now, keep it there.
Yes. Hopefully I wasn't scratching anything at the time.
But, yeah, I've been enjoying going back to that, because I've not played it in a while.
Yeah. I mean, the characters are horrible, so I suppose you're supposed to not really care if some of them die a bit.
So often horror films have terrible, horrible people as their cast, because then if they die, you don't feel bad about it.
I don't know. I used to watch a lot of horror, but I feel like if I watched them now, I probably would notice what horrible people they were.
Yeah. Well, like, of the cast we've seen so far and the actions we've seen so far on screen, there's one of the teenage cast who doesn't seem terrible comparatively. What's his name? In the sort of sports jacket.
Oh, the token black guy.
Token black guy, yeah. I believe his name's Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike. He's dating Emily, the, like, really fucking bitchy girl.
Yeah.
Where she just keeps being like, no, take all my bags for me, do this for me.
Yeah, I didn't like the way he was having to carry all her stuff.
Yeah, no, she's a fucking arsehole, and he seems to deserve better.
Yeah, but also, like, the whole possessive thing I found a bit unpleasant. So he's not without his...
He's not without flaws, but
problems.
he's the least flawed of them.
As far as I can tell, yes.
So
that's nice.
Of what we've seen so far, but I think they've been doing a good job of, like, the setup's been really nice on this. Like, they haven't rushed it. They give you time to have a good burn and be like, where is it going?
And get freaked out by the psychologist.
Yeah, who sort of asks you, like, what scares you about this picture? Who do you like more or less of these people?
Have you noticed that my office is getting more weird?
Yeah. So yeah, I like all the stuff it's doing. I'm curious to see how you find it as it gets a bit further in. But I'm excited to go back to this because that company is in the next year or two making a bunch of like 4 or 5 hour shorter games, which I'm really excited about those because I'm curious what they're going to do with a shorter time span.
Go see that Man of Medan. I believe,
Man
is
of
next one.
Medan is the next one, where it's something to do with like a sunken ship or like a ghost ship or something. It's like, oh, we're going out and finding this spooky ship things.
So many spoops.
So many spoops.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you played anything this week?
There is no sleep. There is no rest. There is no stopping. There is only one more run. I've been playing some more Dead Cells.
You've been playing a lot of Dead Cells. You're getting on pretty well with that.
Yeah, I'm fairly consistently beating the Clock Keeper now.
Yeah.
Or the Timekeeper or whatever they're called.
Yeah. The top of the clock tower boss.
Yeah, and I'm managing to make progress within the high castle level, so that's okay, I guess. I haven't seen all of the biomes yet. I've not done the I think it's the deep prisons or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've been to the Forgotten Sepulchre once. I don't know if I
Yeah.
particularly need to grab anything there, but I'm told like for like cell harvesting, it's best to just do a straight run.
Yeah, but you're making really good progress. You're settling
Yeah.
into your move sets and item sets you like.
I just got my level 4 gold upgrade, so I get like 1,500 gold to start a run with now.
I think 15,000.
15,000. that's
Yeah,
right.
you get a lot now.
Many goals, so that's a good start. Yeah, I'm working towards my level 4 health flask. I've got 50% of everything at with 1+
Yeah,
settings, so I'm doing all right.
you're doing really well.
Yeah, I found lots of blueprints, even if I've chosen not to unlock many of them.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm dang impressed.
What you play?
So I played the demo for Taiko Drum Master on Switch, which is coming out in a couple of weeks. Here's what I'll say. I would like to try this game with the drum peripheral it's releasing with, because I always get on better with physical controls than motion controls for music rhythm stuff. I like the idea of this game. It's very simple. It's just hit the top of the drum or hit the side of the drum and just sort of focusing on that. I don't like the way that this game does it. If you have to tweak for having screen delay, which we do with our telly, it's a little bit of game lag. It very poorly explains what the slider you're tweaking tweaks, and so I don't exactly know which way I need to put it to fix my problem.
Ugh.
And you have to go about 3 menus deep, tweak it, back all the way back out to the main menu, into a song, start a song, and try. And there's so much, and then if that's wrong, you have to back out to the main menu, back into the settings menu. There's so long between try it to see if it's in sync, tweak the setting, back in to try it, that it's very difficult to feel, does this feel better or not? Am I going in the right direction or not?
Oh dear.
I like the thing that Rock Band and Guitar Hero both do, where it's like, we will play a note just going duh, 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 duh. Sort of hit the thing when that happens, and we'll sync up the telly, or when it looks like it's in the middle, hit the line and we'll tell how far out of sync you are.
Yeah.
Stuff like that really works, and this doesn't have that, and I'm a bit iffy about it, but I'm not writing Taiko Drum Master off. I just want to try. I want to try some other methods of it, but we'll see. What about you? What have you been playing?
There is no sleep. There is no rest. There is only Dead Cells.
Is Dead Cells the only other thing you've played?
Yes.
Okay, shall I rattle through my couple of things?
Do
I've
your
played?
things. I've played Dead Cells. It's good. Dead Cells.
I've been playing a bunch more Undertale. I finished my True Pacifist run on Switch, which I very much enjoyed again. There were a bunch of things in that game I forgot how much I loved. I got to go do the Switch exclusive new boss fight, and that was very cool. It had some cool mechanics on it. The music was really good. Are you humming Temmie's song very quietly? I was doing a lot of grinding dog residue around Temmie Village, so you were hearing a bit of that track.
All that residue.
But yeah, no, the new boss fight was really cool. It has, I don't want to ruin what the mechanic is, but it has a very different mechanic to other boss fights. It's not too difficult, and it expands upon the story of a sort of minor character from the Pacifist run that I'm like, oh, I'm really glad we got a little bit more of your narrative. I also, for the first time, actually played through the hard mode demo that's built into Undertale. Basically, yeah, if you set your character name as Frisk, you can play a demo that only goes as far as the end of the underground when you finish the fight with Toriel. But, yeah, there was a bunch of new enemy types in there that I had never fought. There was end-game enemies right from the very beginning, very limited health, and it was a nice challenge. I'm glad I finally got around to trying that.
And more to come, maybe.
Yeah, that's been in there for a long time. I don't think that's ever coming, but we'll see. So I'm now geared up with a completely separate user profile so that I don't destroy the beautiful thing that I created, and I'm gonna start a genocide run again at some point, because I really enjoy the gameplay in that, even though that makes me a terrible person and a villain of the game. But it's fine, because I'm doing it on a separate user profile, so I'm not taking away the happy ending that is saved and quarantined and I will never touch.
Toriel judges you silently.
Toriel judges me not even silently. Everyone judges me very loudly when I do genocide, because I am a monster.
And you managed to do your dance of death.
I did. I worked out how to do the murder dance in Genocide Run, where you basically hold up to walk into a wall, and then while you're holding up, also hold down, and you just kind of flicker back and forth, and I'm doing a bunch of steps, doing a bunch of steps, doing a bunch of steps, until things spawn for you to kill. Efficient murder! And the other thing that I started playing a bit more of is I started playing The World Ends With You Final Remix, which is a Switch port of a DS RPG. I definitely got on a bit better with it when I tried playing it by myself, and I wasn't worried about. I know there's co-op in this. Where is the co-op? I still don't know how to get the co-op in this game that apparently exists. You play as two characters at once in combat, and I assume that's what the co-op is to do with. But fuck me if I can find the fucking co-op. But no, that game looks really nice. They've done a really good job of making it look decently modern on modern tellies for a DS game. Once I got the hang of what they wanted me to do with the new combat system, it is definitely less. It's less prohibitive than the DS's do two control schemes at once thing that had going on. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to digging further into that game, because I remember really enjoying it on the DS, so yeah, I've been playing that. And that's everything I have been playing. Jane has just shown a funny image to me on the phone. Do you want to explain the image, or should we leave it a mystery for just us?
It's the kids from
Twilight
Swiglet Princess
yeah.
in the village. And someone's captioned it with a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, you have the older sister, the middle brother, and the little baby. It's like, yep. He. Well, that's everything I've played. Have you played anything else?
There is no sleep. There is no rest. There is no stopping or going to work or bathing or eating. There is only one more run. I played some Dead Cells.
And with that, now it's time for this.
Inside the boardroom of Electronic Active Softworks.
Right. We've been getting a lot of flack in the media this week. I think it's important we have a meeting. People seem to not be super keen on the fact we're doing 100-hour work weeks. They say that we should probably have been able to get this game done before launch without having to make people work 20 hours a day. But I don't know. You got any suggestions of bits of media in this game that we could cut to avoid crunch?
I mean, we could always just cut out the ending and sell it back to them a few months later.
Yep. I'm on board with this. We ship it. We don't do crunch, but we ship it unfinished.
Yeah.
Maybe we ship it without any of the any of the diverse content, any of that stuff, that's entirely
Well, we all know that that's far too difficult to model. Very expensive. Very
exactly. What about you cut the shrinking and the horse balls tech?
Get that fucking intern out of here. How many times have we got to tell you people, the balls are important. We have to have the balls in the game.
The balls are the entire reason we made this game. If we can't make the horse balls without 100-hour work weeks, we might as well not even make the game.
Why even make a game if you can't watch some big old swinging horse balls getting slightly smaller?
Yeah, exactly. Small horse balls if it's cold.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see some big old pendulous nads.
Indeed. Now, saving money, maybe we just don't ship the game, other than the horse balls.
Yeah. How about this? We'll just do Horseball Simulator. And we'll maybe check out the rest of the game as a season pass over the course of 3 or 4 years. There'll be Ultimate Editions and Superior Editions, and maybe we could stop hiring interns.
You're a goddamn genius.
I know.
Do you need a store that simultaneously serves small children who are curious about flashing lights and highly wasted adults who just need something to focus their brain on?
Yeah, man.
Well, welcome to Toddler or Trashed, a place full of all the best stuff for both young children and adults who are wasted on a night out partying. Do you need flashing lights that spin?
Absolutely.
Do you need sweets with simple riddles on the back of the packet?
My kids will love that.
Do you need a colouring book that just, it's really gonna help you get through that 5 minutes where your brain's a bit,
I feel like my eyeballs are vibrating.
Well then, you need Toddler or Trashed. All the best things for people whose brains are, just on about that level right now.
So, what have you looked at?
What have I looked at this week? I've not looked at a huge amount of stuff. Let me get my looked at list. We watched Doctor Who together.
We did. It was good.
Yeah, continuing to enjoy that new Doctor.
I'm liking that new Doctor. Good Doctor.
I'm enjoying this new creative team that they've got now that fucking Moffat has left. I'm like, I'm enjoying this again now.
Oh.
Moffat had clearly... He had a set number of ideas and he had used them.
Yes.
I'm enjoying a bit of fresh creative vision on this show.
We've not seen a Dalek yet.
I know, right? Gosh. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying the cast so far. I know we slightly differ on this, but I've really enjoyed the 3 companion setup we've had at the moment.
2 of them.
You're not
I'm not
keen
a big
on
fan of Bradley Walsh.
I think he works as part of the ensemble. I wouldn't want him as the only companion, but I think he works as part of the group. But I don't know if I've got much else to say about it. I'm enjoying Doctor Who, which I haven't done in a while. What about you? What have you enjoyed with your eyes?
We watched some Glitter Force.
Oh yes, we did.
Yeah, that's a weird anime. It's like school anime.
It feels very similar to like a Cardcaptor Sakura or a Sailor Moon type thing.
It feels like a fucking toy line, is what it feels like.
But both of those did as well. Don't get me wrong. It's if you're familiar with those kind of 90s magical girl animes, the production value is a little higher. The complexity of its plots feels a little more simple. It's
very formulaic.
It's very
so far.
Oh yeah, so far it has been very formulaic. Is every episode, girl has magical powers and glitter transforms her into magical girl. Fairy tales are real, and the fairy tale villains are like, every episode we're going to move this clock one further forward and try and give the world a unhappy ending. They beat a monster that is a different thing with the same face, and then they get a little charm, which is basically like, here's all the collectible toys for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so far we've been introducing the sort of 5 Glitter Force
Yeah.
heroes.
We got
So hopefully we will get out of that the awakening of the next one every single
Yeah.
episode.
I think we're only 5 episodes in, and literally every one of them has been an awakening episode for one of the 5 heroes.
I don't believe in superheroes. Oh, a bad thing has happened. Now I've turned into a magical girl. I believe in superheroes.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes from there.
Yeah,
But...
well, it can only go somewhere else from here.
yeah, but like it's like it's well produced. It's enjoyable to watch. Like the fight scene animations have been nice.
I'm curious to know where it goes next.
Yeah, I like the fact that its villains have like a very set procedure of like this is when we reach the big bad.
Yep.
So like it very much seems like unless something changes, we're gonna be roughly 24 episodes to get to here's the big bad.
Yeah.
So I like that it's not something that's probably going to get dragged on indefinitely.
Well, you never know. I'm sure there'll be a reason for a series 2.
So there are 2 seasons up on Netflix already, and as far as I can tell, it ends at the end of season 2, and then they move on to a new group of 5 with a new Glitter Force. Here's 2 seasons of this Glitter Force.
Holy hand grenade.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe that's the case.
Right.
I'll see. I don't know if I'll move on and watch a second group do this over again, but...
No, but I'm curious to see more of this series.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'd like, as I say, I think we've got through the bland and formulaic bit now. Hopefully it will pick up a bit. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it the risk it for a biscuit.
Yeah. What else have you been watching?
What else have I been watching? I just did that one. I watched a bunch of TED Talks.
Ooh, tell me about some of your TED Talks.
I watched one called How I Became Part Sea Urchin.
Oh.
Hang on. So I watched How I Became Part Sea Urchin by Catherine Moore. And she's talking about being a wildlife photographer. Like, trying to get like that shot
Yes.
of underneath the spawning sharks.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
as they're all sort of spinning around above. And apparently the current was quite harsh underwater. So she's down there, you know, trying to sort of stay below the level, not disturbing the sharks,
Yeah.
but also avoiding being sort of shoved into the rocks by the current. So sort of one hand out to sort of brace against the rocks. And just felt this sudden pain
Yeah.
and looked down and sort of some blood coming off from glove, and there was a sea urchin's spine straight through her glove.
Oh, no.
So unpleasant.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like 2 days away from like medical help.
Yeah.
And bleeding around sharks.
Yeah, no, you don't want a circle of sharks and you've just started bleeding.
So she's talking about sort of the thought process that went through her head, and there's like all these little pictures going up in the background. Basically, got her child to draw like scenes from this story.
Aww.
It's all really nicely put together like that, and talks about sort of managing to get up to the boat and realizing sort of from knowing biology and things that the sharks aren't going to attack because of like the sort of thing that they're doing at the time.
Okay.
I don't understand shark
They're
biology.
not.
And I don't fully remember.
It's not dinner time.
It's not dinner time. So she gets back up to the boat. She can't get any help, like any help medically, and sort of talks about what you have to do in that event to avoid getting horribly poisoned by the urchin toxins. So there's all of that story in getting back, and then sort of still getting lots of pain in the hand, and there was like part of the spine still in hand.
Ah.
So arranged for an operation to have that removed, and then broke her pelvis falling off a horse. So that meant 6 weeks in recovery and all the time to recover, and sort of it then becomes like a whole nother story that's very sweet that you should listen to because it's very cute, and about how then what then happened thereafter. I won't sort of spoil the ending, but it was quite an interesting and sort of dramatic story,
Aww.
and all very nicely illustrated. What you watch?
I've not watched much else new. I've continued watching BuzzFeed Unsolved. I finally got to season 4 and got back to the true crime stuff, which is the stuff that I find really interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't super digging the.
No, I'll have to show you some of the crime stuff. The crime stuff I think is more interesting. There was a really interesting crime one I watched today from season 4. It is called The Bizarre Collar Bomb Bank Robbery.
Oh, bloody hell!
So, to make a long story short, there's this guy who works at a pizza shop,
Right.
and the pizza shop gets a call and says, "Can you deliver a pizza to this address?" And the guy, like, end of his shift, he goes, "Okay, I'll do one last delivery." 2 hours later, that man is outside of a bank with a collar bomb around his neck, pleading to the police that, like, no, this is a real collar bomb. If I do not go and drop this money off somewhere that I stole from this bank, I will blow up. And then his head blows up.
Whoa.
And this all happened in the space of about 2 hours. And there's this whole, like, they find this whole series of notes that he's got in his possession of, like, instructions he's been given by whoever's put this bomb collar around his neck that basically are like, do this, do that, here's a weapon, go in this bank, steal this money, put it here, and basically sending him on this wild goose chase around LA with the promise at the end of, if you complete all these tasks, we will take the bomb collar off. And there's a lot of weirdness around it. The story he told police while the bomb collar was on his neck doesn't make sense. But also, it was very clear there was a bomb collar on his neck and it blew up.
And clearly, well, it's probably quite a high-stress situation at that point.
Yeah, interesting things, like, the police tried to follow the trail of, like, these things he'd been told to do after he'd blown up.
Yeah.
And continue to try and follow the list. And it's like, this is impossible. This is an impossible errand. It's like, was he given this list of errands? The running theory that I really liked was basically there's these 3 people who, it seems, wanted him to rob the bank, and then him with the bomb collar on was going to be the distraction so they could pick up the money and go. Like, they misled him into thinking, like, you can get out of this alive. But ultimately, like, they were always planning for him to blow up, because then it gets rid of the witness.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting, like, complex murder that occurred. There's also theories that there's things that implicate maybe the man with the bomb collar on his neck at some point in proceedings was a willing participant to certain degrees. It's a really interesting crime. I'd recommend that one. It was a fascinating little crime mystery. So yeah, what about you? What you been watching? You opening a drink?
No.
I'm gonna have some of me cider. It's all right. What you been putting in your eyes?
I watched another TED Talk called "Why Museums Are Returning Treasures."
Is this the plot of Black Panther? These are all things
They watched Black Panther and went, "Fuck, you know what? Killmonger did nothing wrong."
Killmonger, maybe he shouldn't have murdered so many people, but, like, he had a point.
He did have a good point.
He did have a good point. Maybe don't keep all these things you stole from other countries under the name of colonialism and be like, no, these are ours now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're ours.
So that it does mention sort of various treasures around the world that are known to be in large museums, predominantly British ones.
Oh yeah, no, we fucking colonised the shit out of everything and took everyone's valuables and went, these are ours now, look at what we found.
Yes. And they will get back to that at the end of this. So this is with it was hosted by or done by Chip Colwell, and it's about returning Native American items to the tribes, including human remains. So far, they've managed to return 1 million articles and 50,000 skeletons.
Do you really need that many skeletons?
Well, this is like a lot of them are sort of from American museums at first, but also like around the world.
Yeah.
And they talk about sort of going with one of the tribe leaders around the world to sort of go to various museums and say, hey, could we have our... they talk about these war gods. I don't know if you've ever heard of these.
Yeah.
They're carved things, and they're described as not even things or articles. They are gods, protectors, important things, and should, you know, they don't belong to anyone. They belong to the world, and that's not for you to go removing them from where they belong.
Indeed.
And one of the bits they talk about was going to the British Museum, who said that they were afraid that if you take this back, that'll set a precedent, and everyone will want their shit back, including the Greek marbles.
What a shame it would be if people wanted their shit back. Here's the spoiler, British Museum.
Give it all back.
Here's the spoiler. They probably already want it all back. And, it is theirs, and you're not letting them have it back. That's called being a thief.
That sounds like Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we deserve Brexit after all. Anyway. You got any more?
No, that's everything I'll watch.
I will skip to my next one.
What?
So the last one I watched was The Press Trampled on My Privacy. Here's How I Took Back My Story by Kate Stone. Do you know Kate Stone?
No, not by name.
Kate Stone is a pretty awesome scientist who did a previous TED Talk about interactive paper and making I think it was like a turntable that she made out of just papers.
Oh wow!
It's really incredible, like the printing technology and the stuff they were doing with it. Like, definitely watch that thing. It's really fascinating. So, a couple of years ago, she was walking home in the dark late at night, opened a gate and felt something thunk into her. And hit the dirt and was complete. Basically, she'd been charged by a stag.
Oh.
And it had, obviously, broken huge amounts of her. It had managed to put an antler through her throat.
Oh yeah, no, those are fucking deadly beasts.
It was all over the press, but you might not have heard the bit about the stag at all.
Okay.
Because the press went with trans scientists, sex swap scientists, hit by stag, blah blah blah, or in hospital in critical condition, and it went on and on and on. It first started with the local papers reporting it of she's trans, blah 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 blah, not she's a badass scientist.
Yeah.
Or even local woman.
Yeah. This all sounds right.
They just went on and on and on and on and on. And she's talking about how, she in the 3.5 months it took her to recover, the press had run away with the whole story, and she basically sort of, rather than being angry about it and aggressive about it, she decided to sit down and have a reasonable conversation with people and get a dialogue going between herself and people like The Sun, or The Mirror, or The Daily Mail.
Did that actually go anywhere?
There were apologies in person, but I don't think anything ever got in print, which I will come to in a minute. And she's talking about how, this has eventually got her a seat at the table with the IPSO, the Independent Press Standards Organisation. So sort of every few months she gets to turn up there. And she talks about sort of avoiding your own prejudice and talking to those who've wronged you and so forth. And here's where I fundamentally disagree with her. On every level.
Yeah.
The fact that she's going, I had custard creams with Paul Dacker at the Daily Mail. He's mate, no amount of biscuits in the world is going to save all the wrongs that he's done. And maybe you got a personal apology in print, but that has not changed the shitty things the Daily Mail has done. Constantly.
Here's the thing I will say, without getting too into specifics. My personal opinion is, if someone is willing to give you a personal apology, but they will not publicly apologise for the public thing they did that hurt you, it's not really an apology.
No.
Because they still want the positives that they get from having hurt you. They don't want to take the hit that it takes to go, I was wrong to try and hurt this person.
Yeah. And given that we've just seen today, or in the last couple of days, that hate crimes against trans people are up a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, no.
I think the press are doing a bloody good job with their plans to cull minorities.
Yeah, there was an incident last year where someone they did apologise to me over the phone. They did not publicly apologise for
something.
I have no idea what you coughed there. No idea. Okay, yes. So yeah, that's
I didn't angry about
that's,
that.
well, I did. I still don't angry about that.
You seemed very chill at times, like, well, this happened over the phone.
I
blah."
couldn't.
And I was just like,
Here's the thing. In that moment, I was not going to start that particular fight. Anyway, that sounds like an interesting thing to watch, even if I disagree with the person's end choice.
exactly,
but-
and that's why I decided to keep it on the list for this week.
Yeah. Anything else you've put in your eyes this week?
And that's everything I've put in my eyes this week. I finished growling into the microphone. So. Hey Laura, we've got another sponsor.
Another sponsor. Who are we sponsored by this week?
This week we are privileged to be sponsored by those tech giants at Losable Headphones.
Oh goodness! Tell me more about losable headphones.
Losable headphones are super small wireless earbuds specially designed to camouflage with their surroundings. And that means that you can lose them at home, at the gym, you could in the office, or just out and about.
I can lose them anywhere.
Absolutely. And you know the best thing about them?
What?
They are Bluetooth, so you can be sure that if by some miracle you don't lose them, the battery will give up after a few hundred charges and they will become totally fucking
Oh my
useless.
goodness! Where can I get some losable headphones?
Just head over to losableaudio.com and type in the coupon code QUIPS39.
Is that the episode number?
Is the episode number?
Ah!
Yeah.
Look at that!
So QUIPS39, and that'll get you a discount on some excellent quality losable headphones.
I've lost mine already and I haven't even ordered them.
Well, they sent us those promotional ones, and
Oh, well, see, I'd know that if I hadn't lost them.
well, I think they got lost in the mail.
Ha!
That's losable headphones for all your losable audio needs. Tonight on News Time, we have film director Ron S. Filanetti to answer questions from porcelain doll Arabella, who claims that he's made everyone afraid of her.
Yeah, see, before your film came out, people just thought I was a normal doll and no one was terrified of me. And now everyone's just convinced I'm gonna, devour their brains and eat their eyeballs and murderously stab them. You've totally misrepresented me.
I do not feel that is the case. I wanted to make beautiful art, and I feel that I've represented all porcelain dolls as a whole very well. I think that it's true to say that the things that I carried out in my film, that those are things that have happened.
No, you are totally misrepresenting the entire porcelain doll community as all being full of murderous, family murdering evil dolls. I have met so many porcelain dolls who have never murdered a family in their life.
Okay, but how many of them have been serially killing cats around the M25?
I've met many who haven't done that.
Okay, but how many have you met that have started suicide cults and actually managed to kill upwards of 100 people?
Okay, we don't have to talk about stuff I've done. I'm talking about the community at large. Just because I've done a few things that might be evil does not mean it's fair to present porcelain dolls as evil on the whole.
There you have it, horrible bigot Ron S. Filanetti. Thank you for talking to us, Arabella. Your story is...
That murder that I've just committed should not be attributed to all porcelain dolls. There's a lot of them that are lovely.
Hashtag not all porcelain dolls.
So, have you put anything in your ears this week?
Yes. Earplugs.
Yeah.
Yes, I've put things in my ears. So I listened to Thunderstruck by Big Giant Circles. Do you know Big Giant Circles?
I don't know them off the top of my head, no.
So they're pretty commonly known around the OC remix.
Oh, okay, right,
versions.
okay.
This particular track is it's Song of Storms.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's a really nice mix of that. It's got like a mix of really very chiptune sounds of the original, and then like this really powerful drum line, nice soaring violins, and like some rainfall sounds in there as well.
I feel like I might know this one. I knew it was OC Remix. I didn't know the specific OC Remix artist.
It's a good track.
Nice. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it is a good track.
What else you got?
I've not listened to a huge amount this week. Let me look at my list. I listened to lots of the Undertale soundtrack again this week because
You were playing it?
I was playing it, and then I found it was the right thing that my brain wanted to listen to while I was working.
It's good.
That continues to be it's got a good solid tempo to that album that just makes me want to go go, 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 go. What about you? What you listen to?
Also on the OT remix, I listened to The Impresario by Jake Kaufman and Tony Pedrini.
Okay.
It's a Final Fantasy VI track, sort of rock opera style. It's got these beautiful changes, it's lovely harmonies and some really nice guitar. And it's quite a nice long track, good rock opera thing. I don't really know Final Fantasy VI very well, so I don't know how well the lyrics sort of go with the game. But there we go. That. What else you got?
It's very little of it's new this week.
Ooh.
I went back and listened to some My Chemical Romance stuff again.
Same.
Yeah, I re-listened to 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Which,
Same.
do you want to tell your story about you not knowing about the first track?
I think I mentioned it on here before.
Yeah.
The person that lent me their copy of 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, because I got into... I think I'd heard I'm Not Okay, I Promise on some radio show, TV, video thing-ness. And I was like, I like that. And they were like, oh my god, I love My Chemical Romance. You must listen to all of it. I got all of it. Here, borrow my CD. Their disc was fucked. And I had to rip it to even listen to it at all.
Yeah.
And Helena wouldn't play. So I didn't know... Well, sort of from the beginning of the track, I'm like, what's this? I don't know this trick. This is the bonus for a particular version. Oh no, wait, it's Helena. Ah. Yeah, that was my Helena story.
Yeah, how did you find going back to that album?
It's good. I enjoyed more of it than I had previously. Consistently I found the album pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
We'll listen again, undoubtedly.
It continues to be probably my favourite thing they've... my favourite of their albums to go start to finish on, where I'm just yes to every track. What?
I'm a bigger Black Parade fan, I must be honest.
Black Parade is an amazing concept album. I hate this as a thing because I don't mean this to sound like hipster or anything. It's not because it was popular.
Yeah.
It's because it got overplayed to the point that I, as someone that liked that band, was already listening to them a lot in my own time, didn't want to listen to individual tracks by themselves. I still love that album if I'm listening to it start to finish. What I'm doing is listening to the album. I love the vinyl for that reason, because I like just putting it on and being it's just going to play through and be its concept album. I don't tend to listen to individual tracks from it terribly much. Disenchanted still great. I have a famous last words tattoo. I don't not like that album, but the other one I went back and listened to was, it's not technically an album of theirs. It's Conventional Weapons, which was basically a collection of, I think it was 12 tracks that were
almost sequel to Black Parade.
The stuff that was we almost did this on the Black Parade, and then pair that with, I listened to some of the unreleased demo tracks that were stuff that almost was before the Black Parade, that got released on the Black Parade's 10th anniversary re-release. Just listening to a lot of the sort of here and there bits of almost MCR music. I really like Ambulance. Ambulance is a fucking jam. I fucking love that one. There's a few really good tracks on there, so I've just been listening to some old MCR stuff. What about you? What you been listening to?
I listened to a track by Jack Russell called Boss Fight. It's very chipper, nice and upbeat, very sort of chiptuney. Got a really nice walking beat to it. You can really sort of bounce along to it. So I'm guessing if it was a boss fight, it would be maybe a Kirby boss rather than a Final Fantasy boss. But yeah, definitely recommend that.
Yay!
What else you got?
I don't know if I've got anything else. Let me double check. No, that's it really. That's all I've really listened to.
Ooh.
And then it's just been tracks I've already listened to that I went back to.
Ooh. So how are we going to go about this?
Okay, well, there's so much money to be made from this LGBT market again, obviously.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, look, we did it this year. We stick LGBT flags up in the window during Pride season, get the gays in there because, they've got money to spend. It's worth promoting to get LGBT people, right?
Yeah.
But, like, here's my problem. I don't know how we promote to them outside of Pride season. Like, how do we get them to spend money on things when it isn't Pride?
Well, outside of that, I guess we could. How about we make some genuine, some gay or queer programming, some trans programming. We make some show people in a positive light. We'll not kill off the gay couples. We'll make sure that they get to have happy endings and stuff. We'll put them in all our soaps so that people in the street can see that it's perfectly normal being gay or trans or any of the quilt bag, as I believe some people use to express the whole LGBTQIA plus.
I don't know what you're on about. LGBT people don't buy anything. They don't buy anything. Only straight people buy things. If we put anything other than straight people in a thing, it'll never sell. I'm well aware that I just said LGBT people will buy things if it's catered to them, but don't be ridiculous. Queer representation will never sell.
The media.
They can't see their own hypocrisy.
It's a violent hypocrisy. Upcycled glassware, filled with flammable liquids, stuffed with repurposed fabric wicks. Large wooden apparatus that deliver heavy downward blades at the flick of a switch. Plain black hoodies with matching scarves and boots. From each according to their ability, to each according to their needs. This isn't just revolutionary equipment. This is the people's revolutionary equipment. From Marxist Spencer. Question time. It's time for questions.
Questions? What are the questions?
Becky Toot here would like to know. Should managers of projects that end in crunch keep their jobs?
If you are resorting to crunch, you're not a terribly efficient project manager. You have either tried to push your project out too early, or you have not put enough people on your project. And like the scale of project you want to do and the release date you want to hit just aren't meshing together. That should not be your employee's problem. That should be your problem.
No, I don't mind the concept of a little bit of overtime voluntarily. Because I find that quite handy sometimes to be able to, go and do a job that I can have a little bit of extra money here and there should I want it on a voluntary basis. But, like, the idea of people being forced into 100-hour weeks is just not good enough. What else? I put some other things down. Like, ditch the things you can't afford.
Yeah. Don't spend people hours developing shrinking horse testicle physics and then go, oh no, we don't have time to finish the important things in our game before it releases.
Exactly. Finish the game.
Maybe your game wouldn't have needed crunch if you'd gone, hey, shrinking in the weather horse testicle physics can maybe wait till a patch like 2 weeks after launch.
Or even go, here is the game start to finish, now we want to do some polish with it, we've got a couple of weeks left, can we sort out the horse balls?
Yeah, maybe prioritize, like, put the horse balls somewhere on your priority list that isn't, we're going to do it and we're going to need crunch to pay for it.
Yeah, and you've got, like, at that point you should have a choice of, like, we put it out in a patch, or we say, hey, here was a feature we just didn't have time for. It would have been nice, but no horse balls. Hashtag soz.
Yeah.
Like,
what are questions we got?
Sergeant Spoopy, if you suddenly lost all of your video games today, what would be the first game you would get another copy of?
Ooh, tough question. I don't know, have you got an answer for this?
I'm not sure, like, there are games that I will replay again regularly, but very few of them are actually still annual. Like, for years I would replay the Interplay Lord of the Rings game. And then once I got a PC and a job, and I could actually afford to buy games rather than going, I'm still
Yeah.
emulating this from a bajillion years ago in a DOS emulator or whatever. Like, I sort of lost interest in endlessly replaying games and went, there's so much out there I could be playing new.
I think the only one that I still regularly replay, like, annually is To the Moon. So that's like one of my favourite games of all time. It's like fairly short. It's short enough I can replay it in a single sitting. And because it's a digital game, it might not be physically available forever, so I would want to get a copy and be like, yes, I have it again. As opposed to, like, things that get physical releases, I'll always be able to track a copy down somewhere or another, so I guess that'll be my answer.
I think the closest game that I've played sort of fairly annually recently would be Day of the Tentacle. I think I've played that every year or every other year, pretty much.
Yeah.
Whether it be the original or the remaster.
That's a good answer.
More of that, okay. Kia Anderson would like to know, any plans for Skellington Day?
This is the problem I have with MCM Comic Con in London is always in October, and it's always so close to Halloween that I end up like dressing up in October for Comic Con and then not really doing anything on Halloween night itself. It's like I don't have any local friends that like do Halloweeny things locally. Do you like doing Halloweeny things?
I mean, a Halloween at home. I don't go outside the house.
Do you dress up in Halloweeny attire at home?
I will usually dress up for Halloween anyway.
Oh, I'm excited. I've never had like someone locally to Halloween with.
We can Halloween together.
We can-
Although you have said that if I keep the scooped out eyes prosthetic on, that you're not going to smooch me.
I'm probably not going to smooch you with the scooped out eyes. I apologise. You could dress up as like Link though, and it'd be like Halloween, yay!
Do
Dressed up as
junior Halloween
characters.
when I get home.
Pardon?
Do sort of adult Halloween during the day, and then junior Halloween when I get home.
Halloween for
Which is more sexy Link.
It's not that like I would be scared to have you in the house. It's that I would find it difficult to kiss you. As long as you're alright with that evening being like relatively smooch free, you could be eyeball scooped out.
I need my smooches.
Okay, maybe just
I'll sexy Link it up for you when I get home.
okay.
I'll spank you with a master sword or something.
Hello.
Is Leah Moyer again a smooch Mothman in front of Sasha?
So this question, for people who were wondering, is about Dice Funk Season 5, the D&D podcast I do. Leah Moira would like to smooch anyone who consensually would like to be smooched. If Leah Moira finds Mothman before Sasha does, she gon' kiss Mothman. She gon' get that first kiss.
Any advice for Halloweening as a not out trans lady?
Trying to think back to myself in terms of costume stuff I did when I wasn't out, but I was doing costumes at conventions.
I just use it as the excuse to go femme for the day. Often, I know now as a trans person that it's very often seen as a hey, my identity is not a costume, but at the same time, it's quite good for people who are so far in the closet or even slightly in the closet as a hey, I got to be me for a day. And like, as somebody who's, despite all the colours, I'm quite goth.
Yeah.
And I love the goth aesthetic. So the idea that you can make Halloween every day, like Muppets treat Christmas, if you find it in your heart, Halloween is with you every day.
Yeah. I somewhat agree with that. Like, a lot of my early costuming stuff I did at conventions when I wasn't out was like, haha, isn't it so funny that I am doing this, but also... oh, I just get to be me for a bit. That's good. Hooray!
It's quite cathartic to be able to go. Not even haha. Isn't it funny that I do the thing? But like, if someone comes up and tries to be a jerk about it, I can be like, yes. But like the rest of the time, I would just be like, I'm getting to be me for the day.
Yeah, it's just
I look awesome in this miniskirt. I've still got that miniskirt.
Exactly. So yeah.
So yeah, do with that as you will, but certainly that nobody's identity is a costume. So
Indeed.
do at least respect that for people. Jacob Marion would like to know if there is one project that if there is one project that you could collaborate on, what would it be?
Oh,
Probably some kind of podcast where we talk about social justice stuff.
projects that I would love to do. I'd love to collaborate with someone musical. But us collab. Oh, I apologise. I misunderstood the question. I thought you meant just in general.
No.
Well, here's the thing. We collaborate on this, and we've got an upcoming collaboration that's going to take some time to get a backlog of, but I think if there's a thing we wanted to collaborate on, we'd just collaborate on it.
I'd quite like to do another D&D, but we really need more people for that.
Yeah, we need more people, and we need time because we've got a fairly full.
Yeah, you already have quite a full deck.
I have quite a full deck of podcasts, and we're trying to do a podcast thing. So
at least we're keeping that one cash.
yeah. So what are the questions? Actually, have you got an answer for that? Oh yeah, you answered. Yes, the podcast thing.
Yes.
Have you got any other questions there?
Evil Missing No. What's one game you play at least every year? Oh, we've already done that one.
Sort of answered that, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, we accidentally answered it early.
Spooky Heavy Man would like to know bees.
Bees?
Yes, please. We need them for all of the, vegetable-based food that I eat.
If we want the world to exist in another, 30 years, we need bees.
Yes, so please, yes, please, bees.
Yes. Be nice to your friendly bees.
Oh, friendly neighbourhood bee person. Drob.
Hi, Drob. Hi, Drob.
Thanks for all the old smarts.
Thank you.
Have you seen Venom? And what do you think of the movie in general?
I'm gonna be honest, my entire knowledge of Venom is through Tumblr. And here's what I know. The part of Tumblr that wants to have sex with, eldritch monsters is really digging Venom having sex with Eddie Brock. I have heard that apparently Venom and Eddie Brock kiss. I don't know if that's real, but, it would...
Wishful thinking.
It would explain the whole, hard-on that monster fucking Tumblr has for Venom. And I have seen a trailer that ends with, Venom saying the word turd, which is, a weird thing, feels weird and immature and not with the tone of the rest of that trailer.
Oh, did you not hear? They cut 40 minutes out of the film to make it a PG-13.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds like it makes sense. I've heard it's apparently, very... It doesn't know whether it wants to be a fun anti-hero film or if it wants to be a serious film.
Yeah, I feel like somebody initially went in with the, hey, Deadpool was good, let's do another one of those. And then somebody else came along and went, actually, we want to sell more toys, so we're going to cut 40 minutes. We're going to cut what's the name of the guy who plays Eddie Brock?
Oh,
one of the Toms.
Tom Hardy? Tom Hardy, I think.
That one. Apparently he said they cut the best 40 minutes out of the film.
Yeah. My favourite way I saw it described was someone quoted back that terrible scene from the trailer where they were like, Venom feels like it's had its arms and legs ripped off and it's been left to roll down the street like a turd in the wind. And I'm like, well, okay, that tells me everything I need to hear.
Seems to me that you lived your life like an arms and legs off symbiote rolling down the street in the wind.
Here's the thing, I'm not opposed to watching it. I've watched Suicide Squad. Sometimes I'll be in the mood to be like, I'll watch a kind of trashy superhero film.
I would say I put Suicide Squad on. I very quickly lost interest in it. It stayed on for the duration, but I was not paying
attention. I have no interest in paying to see it, but I will probably at some point, it'll be on in my presence at some point. We got any other questions?
Yeah. Kel Gooder would like to know, how many Lauras could a Laura butt if a Laura butt could butt Lauras?
My brain doesn't know how to process that sentence. I'm going to say all of them.
Laura butt would butt all of the butts if a Laura butt could butt butts. Laura's. Wait. What? One of those things.
Yeah, all of them. Whatever that means, all of them.
My years of Monkey Island training have failed me. I did know the whole woodchuck chuck thing.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Why would a woodchuck chuck any amount of wood if a woodchuck could chuck wood? But if a woodchuck could chuck, or should chuck, what about a woodchuck chuck? Avalia Torres would like to know what are you most looking forward to for in 2019? Glorious Revolution!
I hope for that. Things I'm excited for that I know are going to happen. Most of my books are coming out, and I know I've been really hammering on about that, but I'm really excited to be it's looking very promising that I'll have 2 books out next year, and that's a really exciting thing.
That'll be 2 whole books I'm going to read next year.
Two whole books. That's gonna be weird.
Yeah, something that isn't just an article.
Something that isn't just forgotten 5 minutes after it's put up.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, I still remember some of your more memorable articles. I
Yeah.
still remember gaming butts. I still remember gaming dicks and vaginas.
Internet content is by its nature somewhat disposable.
Yeah, but
it'll be nice to have a thing that's a bit more concrete and tangible.
Because it's a physical print item.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just sort of the internet moves very quickly.
Are you saying that if you've been born a little bit younger and been able to get into games journalism that bit younger, you could have been one of those great personalities of early 90s gaming journalism?
No, because without the internet, my fucking has no qualifications ass would never have found work.
Aw, that's poop.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh.
What questions you got?
If DOS and compatibles had not destroyed the market for the home microcomputer, what computer would you be gaming on today?
Ooh, I have no idea.
I guess I'd go with some kind of Commodore product. I had a Commodore 64. I always really liked the look of the Amiga.
Yeah.
I've played the intro to Blood Money repeatedly.
I'd be very interested to see what a modern Commodore would be like.
Yeah, it'd be quite an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that. I hear the Atari ST was good. I hear that Norman Cook still uses an Atari ST for making some of his music. As if he still makes music? Or is he even alive?
Who knows?
I've not paid any attention to Fatboy Slim in years. I can't remember why. Was he shitty about something?
If you ask that question, the answer's often yes, but I
yes.
don't know.
Oh well.
What else we got on questions?
I think that's everyone. Let me do play check. It's the end of the questions for now. Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors! Hello, Larry.
Alright, Harry, how are you doing? Oh, another week, another season of just the press horribly laying into trans people.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that this week. I think it's because of that whole GRA reform that, finally sort of they stopped taking people's thoughts in on that this week and got that real push of transphobia coming in, just, trying to get that last little bit of anti-trans support they could in.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. I feel like, this is just another part of the media's attempt to just cull minorities.
Oh, goodness, yeah. There was that whole thing with that advert in the Metro,
Oh.
and their ludicrous response when people were criticising them, and they were like, well, if trans people want to raise money to defend themselves in our newspaper, we're not stopping them. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't, accept money to fearmonger against a minority group in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you're the Daily Mail, we're doing that for free most days anyway.
Indeed, yeah, it's horrible. We've seen such a step up recently, and I know we batter on about the GRA a bit, but self-ID for trans people has been introduced in so many countries already, and in none of them did it correspond with a rise in crime. All these claims that if you let trans people self-identify, crimes are going to rise as a result. It's no, that's just not real. That's just not what happens.
No, it's just Section 28 all over again, but for trans people instead of gay people.
Yeah, it's criminalising existing or educating about a minority group's existence. And
trans people have not yet reached to the point that gay people in the UK did eventually reach, where like over 50% of people went, yeah, gay marriage, yeah. We've not reached that like, tipping point where everything is like generally over the hump. We've not reached that yet for trans people.
I have an older gay friend who lived through a lot of, lived through all of Section 28 and, some of the 70s appallingness that went on there. And, he's saying that trans rights are basically very much where gay rights were in about the 70s. I mean, they do seem to be moving with a bit more speed than gay rights did, but still, that's just not fast enough. And the way the media are treating it, it's exactly the same. The way the religious right are jumping on it, exactly the same. And political feminists as well. Once again, just hating their hate.
It's all the same play-by-plays. It's you start by saying that they're a danger to be around children.
Yeah.
You take that and you mobilise it to be like, we've got to keep them out of bathrooms because that's where they're a danger. Because you saw that with gay people, so you can't have gay people in bathrooms because they'll be a danger.
Yep. Then you've got your slippery slope fallacies, like what happens next? Are we allowing paedophilia?
Exactly. Oh, paedophilia is always a comparison, no matter what it is. That's the fear of the time. It's like, if we allow this, what about paedophilia? Then it's all play-by-play the same thing. It's fear-mongering and saying that, like, this group who just want to live their lives and get on with what they want to do.
And piss in peace.
Yeah, and piss in peace. No. You can't tell kids about them because that'll turn them into that group. If they know that exists, it'll turn them. It'll turn them, and that's evil. And you can't tell them about it because it's not child-appropriate. And no, it's just let people know that options exist. Normalise things from a young age, and don't assume that every minority group that exists, by themselves, is like, oh no, they can't let them in bathrooms. You're gonna hurt people. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, and let the children be better educated than you were if you're so badly informed that you think that all these awful things about people that you know nothing about. It's just ill-informed opinion, hearsay, and people jump in one after the other after ridiculous excuses for bigotry.
Honestly, the problem with so much of this stuff is it's honestly just trying to drive wedges in the LGBT community, because like a big part of it, I think,
it's all divide and conquer.
Yeah, no, it's if we can get people to be, get trans people out of the picture, that's one less group that is then there to support and defend the rights of the LG and B section when they can't, when people start coming back for them.
Yeah, it's never first they came for the rich white people, which is what they seem to always fear it is, and currently it is they came for the Muslims, they came for the trans people, they came for the disabled,
they came for the people of colour,
they came for the poor.
Yeah, it's always like you take the groups that you think you can, that have the least ability to mobilise the media and defend themselves, and you pick them off one by one so that, you just solidify your power in the position where you're like, oh, I'm part of the group that has all the power. Exactly.
Gross.
It's ridiculous. It's tiring. I hope that now the GRA reform is out of the way, we get a little bit of peace and quiet from this, and we don't get such a high density of attacks for a bit. Be nice to have a breather.
It would be nice to have a bit of bit of peace and quiet, but as I fear, as long as we've got a Tory government, the Windrush abuses, it's
here's the thing. All I can say is trans allies right now need to just be vocal about their support and keep being vocal. Even if there's not a news story at that time, be vocal about your support for trans people and just keep that vocalness up, because it's fucking needed right now, because trans people, fucking tiring. Can't put all the pressure on them to fight this.
Fucking exhausting from what I hear.
Yeah. Should we do a hug? Should we do that hug?
Please,
I could do with one. Oh.
Yeah.
This is needed.
Definitely. I mean, state of the world. How did we get to this?
Oh, I don't know. At least we got this good hug going on.
We do. More hugs in the world. More caring and compassion and decency to one another. You know, seeing other people as human beings rather than commodities or some other to be feared.
Exactly. Right, shall we go have that cup of tea?
Definitely, I'll put the kettle on.
Have a cup of tea.
Laura,
Yes.
where can we find you on the internet, darling?
You can find me at Laura K Buzz pretty much everywhere. Laura K Buzz on Twitter, Laura K Buzz on YouTube, Laura K Buzz on Twitch. You can also find me on Unbound, where my probably the first book of mine that's going to release, Things I Learned About Mario's Butt, is on Unbound. You can pick up a copy, a signed copy, a copy that I've drawn a butt in the front of. You can get it with a mug with a butt on it, or a
2 signed copies?
yeah. You can get 2 signed copies. You can get a
Prints of
little
the butts.
social media avatar of like some butts drawn by our artist. There's a bunch of cool things. Go check that
Suggest
out.
a butt.
Yeah, you can suggest a butt. On top of that, my memoir's coming out in July 2019. You can find that on places
Book
like Book
Depository.
Depository. It's on Amazon in a lot of countries. I mention that just because it's the one that, like, a lot of countries it's starting to pop up in. So I know. I'm just trying to let you know, if you're in another country and don't want to order it from Book Depository in the UK, it is on Amazon.
Bezos doesn't need any more money.
He does not. But yeah, other than that, I'm on Dice Funk, which is the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons real play podcast. I'm on Seasons 3, 4 and 5. Season 3 is about escaping a magical barrier town. Season 4 is about overthrowing capitalism in a cyberpunk future. And Season 5 is about space and the many adventures that you have in space.
Spice!
I think that's about everything. Kotaku.co.uk, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. There you go. That's the thing.
It's
Yeah.
getting longer.
It's getting longer. What about you? Where are you?
I'm in the comparison at least comparatively small. I'm Jane Aerith Magnets on SoundCloud, where you might be listening to this now. You can also find me on stonemonkeyradio.blog. We're on iTunes as Stone Monkey Radio. You can find all of the related products. I'm on Twitter and YouTube as Maniac Janiac. That's Janiac. Although I'm Jane's scariest magnet at the moment. Because you know October. I think that's all of the places. I'm very hyped for all the things.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And with all that said, until next time, be a stranger.
I am quite strange. Bread!
May I scooch back
Bread!
in? That is a lot of bread.
That's a lot of bread in a toilet.
Yeah.